Everybody, looks like we made it to another Wednesday. I'm so glad that we're able to hang out, talk about art, go over technique together. Just want to thank everyone for hanging with me and spending the time out of your busy day. I don't take it lightly for 1 second. I really appreciate everyone. Mr. Leahy, thank you so much for your kindness. Look at that, $10 donation there. I really appreciate that. Thank you, sir. So we have Roy from Color Graphics. Good to see you. Willie, all right. Winner of last week's mug, which is exciting. And I'm going to get that out to you ASAP. And thanks for your patience in advance, Willie. John Diekman, all the way from Wisconsin. Hey, all day. How's it going? So we have, who else? Who else we have here? Mr. John Payne from upstate New York. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Colette, how you doing? 2 Wisconsin people in the house. So that's nice. Get that Midwest vibe going. So that's fantastic. So today we're doing part 2 of this painting. I gotta make it brighter, right? You know, what's going on, Tim? We definitely can make her brighter. Let's see. I think I'm gonna have to change the ISO a little bit. Bam, I think that did it. Okay, so nice. So that's nice and bright, and you all can see that, which is fantastic. I want to go a little low tech because these videos are all about you all about teaching technique and everything. So I want to basically do some more of cutting out the actual photocopies, which are the exact same size as the line drawing. I'll cut them out and I'll use these as my masking material. Hey, Blue, how's it going? Oh no, I don't see her. Yeah, Blue by you. Oh, Patty, how's it going? I think Blue will be by. She always very supportive. She'll come by tonight. And so we're going to do a little low tech here because I want to combine that, combine, because we always got to go back to where we begun, right? Low tech. Sooner or later, we're going to go back to low tech. Am I right? Sooner or later. Let me get that glare of that away from you all. Okay, so let's see. Hey, what's up, Mr. Dredge? Good to see you. Oh, thanks. Yeah, she's amazing, this actress, I really think she's fantastic. So now I need my cutting board because we're going with the low tech, and I'm actually going to do some of the stuff that is inspired by Mr. Leahy. He is the master with the blade, I'll tell you that much. What he does with the razor blade, all the years of experience he has. If you haven't checked out his live streams Monday at 6 p.m., you will learn a lot. I don't care what level you're at, whether you're never seen an airbrush before or you've been doing it for years like myself. You're going to learn something and it's going to affect your art. So definitely. So, I have an interesting question. I can't believe I can't find something as simple as my cutting board. Where in the world could that... Oh, call off the dogs. I found them. I found it. Okay. Definitely need to be doing some cleaning, that's for sure. Straightening out in this studio. It's getting a little crazy. And there you are. So, Wendy, how's it going? Good to see you, Wendy. Thanks so much for coming by. I really appreciate it. So, I'm going to get my razor blade. See if I can get away with using an old razor blade. But we'll see. So today is going to be the, which is really cool, today is going to be the drawing for the Blackbeard Week that I got at Hobby Lobby. So that's going to be exciting. So we're looking forward to that, Get my Ink Flinger's airbrush glove, which is really good. All the products and the airbrush and everything you see tonight is available on my website, www.paintingcliffs.com. So what I want to do is I want to actually separate her face, and then we could, so what I want to do is maybe just paint, just have her face separated so we can paint the face, and then I will do a couple of others. I want to keep everything clean, so that's important. So let's see. Now the way Steve Leahy uses the razor blade is unbelievable. So while I'm, see, this is what I think so important. While I am actually working on even doing the cutout here, I'm still making sure that I do the 1 second rule. And the 1 second rule basically is you look for a second and paint for a second. In this case, it's going to be you look for a second and then you cut for a second, okay? I'm not going to go crazy with the detail here. I'm just going to do a guess, you know, just do a, not every single hair right here. And again, I'm just cutting out the face, not the neck, just the face. And it's going to help us in a lot of ways with getting edges, stuff like that. Okay. Right here. And I'm not going to cut out the chest piece, because the chest piece I have to draw it out a little bit better, and I don't want to use this to cut it out, so I'm just going to bring this over here. And I'm just going to come back from here, get like a little pincer move here. Oh, Patty, thank you so much. Yeah, the 1 second rule is really amazing, you know? Yeah, Steve's work is amazing. Just the stuff he does and on the scale that he does it is just amazing. I really agree, Mr. Dredge, on his latest piece. And just trying to do a continuous line. There we go. So now I just have to do the upper part of the hair, and then we have this cut out, and we could go from here, which is great. Hey Brad, how's it going? Good to see you, my friend. And where do we continue? That's the thing. See where we cut until. So we're right about here. And we're just going to continue this. Move my artwork clear away from the razor blade. Get these magnets out of the way because they're impeding the movement here. Okay. See, my hat's getting in the way. Let's see what we have here. Oh, so you see this comes over here, and it's really like one big shape. I'm not gonna split hairs, no pun intended. See, we have this. coming down. I might as well take out my pencil and draw out this hair here. So I'm getting away with a not so sharp razor blade, which is good. Okay. So I just want to make sure I get those major hairs. And so basically I'm just trying to cut out the positive shape of her face. Like I said, I have a much more streamlined way of doing this with using vinyl or mylar, but you know, those are people out there, who don't have that ability, so I want to teach all ways of doing it, not just alienate those who don't have technology. So always got to remember that these live streams are about you all learning as much as possible. And you know, it's free for those who can't afford classes. And so, you know, to me, I feel it's quality education and very high level, and it doesn't cost anything for those who can't afford it. And that's internationally, you know, it's the beauty and fun of art is not just for those who have money, but for everybody. And those who give to the channel, such as Mr. Leahy there, and you know, really help this to continue, right? It's you all that enable this dream to continue to flourish. This is the only live stream out there, and that does the portrait every week from beginning to end. And I'm really happy about that I'm able to do it, because if you want to learn how to paint a portrait in airbrush, these live streams, which I keep up and keep them live, that is you know, a way to, of course, if you take my classes or someone else's classes, you can go deeper into it, but you definitely have a good foundation just by these live streams. And to me, that's exciting. That makes me feel good. I was talking with somebody, I think it was last week, if I won the lottery, what would I do? And I would continue doing these live streams because, you know, yes, people get stuff out of it, but I have to admit I get just as much out of it than anyone else. I love it. And I'm just going to get this basic shape here. Not going to go crazy. I can paint in those hairs. Okay, so I'm not going to rip. If I see that it's not coming off, I'm just going to press down and make sure that I have a clean cut, like right here, right there. It looks like there's a little spot. This looks clean. This looks clean. Okay, so now I have that, and this should match perfectly over my artwork. So let's take a look together. Put the razor blade away because sharp objects are scary. And so let's see. And see if this works absolutely perfectly. And I think it does. It's going to give us a freedom to go ahead and work a little more in her face and continue doing some tight detail. So let's see what we have here. So let's see what people are saying. Yeah, that's true. Mr. Leahy has amazing framing skills. Hats off to you, sir. That's for certain. That is for certain. And Brad's a pretty good framer as well. Both of yous. Just going to make sure I have this correct. I'm just going to... So yeah, so you can do low-tech things. Just make sure that, you know, the size of your printout is the same exact size as your drawing. There's several techniques to get that. Just want to get this as close as possible. So I'm not really going to work in the hair area. We're going to work in here, you know, in the inner parts of the cheeks and maybe the chin, stuff like that. And let's see, put a little more of this, a little more magnets here and there, and we'll get to town. So what I have in this airbrush, which is my customized Extreme Patriot 105. I love this. You can see my customized backing, the trigger, the spring on the pack valve, the needle that comes out further. All of these things help to create an airbrush that has a large cup and does incredible detail. So once again, since I'm coming in for the first time in this painting, I'm going to make sure I do some tests over here, which is crucial. Very, very important. Blood is not good paint. I agree. On the macabre side, right? That's true. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. And we're going to work a little bit more on her eyes here. Let me see if I can lighten this up. There we go. That's pretty good. And let's see if we can focus a little bit more. Okay. There we go. A little bit better. Yes. Okay. And so now what we're going to do, we're going to work on the eye on the left. Nope, the eye on the right. Okay. And let's go ahead and make this happen. Make sure I don't get my hat in the way. So I'm in that super light mixture. And that super light mixture is going to be all in the new sets that people get. Those who have ordered, they're going to have this detailed light mixture in here. And that's new. And this detailed light mixture in my Airbrush India ink actually gives you the ability to get even more detail. Which is sick because the Airbrush India inks are already giving you crazy detail. So at this stage, we're just sketching, right? That's all we're doing. We're just sketching. We're not doing any kind of crazy detail. Just sketching. But you can see the amazing detail that I'm getting here. And you just have that freedom of working like as if you were working with a mechanical pencil. That only works with airbrushes such as mine, which is tuned in and is really high level, you know. Hey Blue, how you doing? Good to see you. So glad you're here. Thank you so much for coming. Just gonna do some of these little hairs here. Just establish them. When you're doing like the individual hairs in eyebrows and stuff, make sure you get the direction correct. The direction is so important. The direction of the hairs will make it either a professional looking portrait or an amateur looking portrait. And that is just the direction of hairs everywhere in your painting. So how do you do that? Pay attention. Pay attention to the direction of the hairs. It's everything. Okay, so why are we so worried about, you know, masking off the hair? Because the edges, right? We don't worry about getting the hairs dirty, but getting those edges here that you see on the side of the face there, that's crucial. You get the edges right, the reality is halfway there. So that's really important. Oh, it's so great you're here. Definitely, Blue. Your comments are always so welcome. Yeah, the regulars here. It's just so great. I look forward to yous, and I consider, you know, really just love talking with yous. So much fun. And you see, I'm just working here, just trying to get detail without getting too dark, right? That's the thing. Get detail without getting too dark. So I'm looking for a kneaded eraser. Lately I've been losing my kneaded erasers. But does that happen with you all, that you're doing well, everything's great, and then slowly your airbrush studio goes a little bit disarray, right? Just a little disarray. But you know what? Then a little bit more, and before you know it, your studio is a madhouse. That's how I feel sometimes, Here's a Nameless says, hey Nameless, how you doing? Good to see you. So Nameless says this, that are nozzle caps one that fits all? I'm ordering some new 0.2, 0.3, and 0.5 needle and nozzles, and I'm wondering if the outside air cap fits the nozzle. Are you talking about these guys that fit over the airbrush, such as this? If you're talking about this, yeah, pretty much they all fit for Badger, but not for other brands, Other brands are different sizes and everything, so you definitely want to. Now, if you're talking about needle caps, then they're totally different because they all have different threads. So even in brands, they have different threads. So yeah, but in Badger, these all fit. That's fine. Hey, hola Edgar, ¿cómo estás? Estoy muy contento que tú estás aquí. Oh, so eso, el papel es color line paper de la marca Canson, and el color is ¿qué es el color? Es pebble gray. Es muy bien. It's perfecto para airbrush, and it doesn't warp. It's really good. So yo estoy muy contento con este papel, the color line de la marca Canson. And Colette says, oh, let's see, Brad says, I can't believe how this one is coming so quickly, Tim. Oh, thank you, Brad. I appreciate that so much. And Steve says, oh, needle caps for airbrushes can be the same, but nozzle caps are different. That's very true. Yes, very true. Thanks for that answer, Steve. Really appreciate that. Cats are funny. I love cats. I have a cat now, and they are just amazing animals. I've always been a cat person. I love dogs. I love all animals. But I have to say I gravitate towards cats because cats kind of gravitate towards me. I think if you're a cat person, they kind of pick you more than you pick them, right? You all feel that way, that are cat people? All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and come in and work on a little bit of, I'm going to be about 4 inches away, and I'm just going to ever so lightly work in this eye socket here. And really, we have to go light. It's very important, but great with this detail mix here. It really keeps you from going too dark and too early. And it's great for students because that's one of the things that students are guilty of, going too dark too early. Now you see I'm going in with the pink airbrush, but that's not to say you can't go in with the paintbrush either. So whatever your comfort level is, That's where you should be. Okay, and then we'll come back, you know. Ah, Steve says he loves the Italian review of my Airbrush India ink. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. That was such an honor to have that. That really was so amazing, you know. Thanks, Blue. Blue says I'm an international sensation. That's so nice to hear. I hope to reach, you know, students all over so I can share this technique and the love of airbrush, and so I'm excited about that, definitely. If you're going all day, if you're going too dark too fast, then you definitely need my India inks mixture, because it will solve that problem forever. You will definitely learn how to go slow, because these inks don't allow you to go fast. And it'll also show you the value of going slow. So it's not going slow because, you know, just because I don't want to go too dark too early, but you're able to build up the values very slowly. And you'll see the advantages of that. You know, what are the advantages of working slow? And you'll start seeing them because you're building up not only value slowly, but texture at the same time, and helping you to see the nuances as you go. So when you have these inks, you know, you have the detail mix, the light mix, the medium, and the dark. It's all mapped out for you. But the thing is, it's going to teach you the value, whether you're going to be working in color, whether it's Createx or Golden. Working from light to dark slowly is going to be beneficial for you. And if you want to establish the darks like Steve Leahy does, that's fine, and that's great. That's a great technique. But definitely learn how to do this first, and then do that, because by doing it this way first, you'll understand, you know, why you're doing the other way, and you'll be able to see the nuances in between. And oh, Steve says, love the beauty of Tim's inks. Oh, thank you. They really slow you down, definitely. And I was talking, Steve, about how you tweaked it to your own technique, which I think is really fantastic, because you wanted to speed up the process. And you sped up that process by going ahead and establishing the darks and then working out from there, which is fantastic, and that's a great way when you need to speed that up. So I definitely appreciate your input. And you know, when other artists work in different techniques, you know, work in the same medium, that's when it's like a think tank, right? You get different approaches. But if your problem, Nameless, is going too dark too early, this is really going to blow your mind and bring things together, you know? Really is. And so that's cool. And Brad says Tim has been underrated. He has world class for quad. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that, Brad. Thank you. The trick with me is when I'm at my best, I am just trying to do the best I can, always improve. That's when I'm at my best, when I'm doing that, when I have that sort of humble student attitude, that, you know, I'm just trying to take whatever technique I'm doing to the next level. And so that's where I am now, and that's where, when my work is really going well, is when I have that attitude. It's like there's a better way to catch a mouse, right? And that's really fantastic. And thank you so much, Willie and Brad. Thank you so much, and Colette. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Patty, yes, practice does make perfect. And Steve says, yes, please do. Don't use my method as a standard. Well, no, all methods are great. So it's great because, you know, that's where true learning happens, when we all sort of, you know, bring what we have to the table. Like Steve Leahy does these 5-4-3 paintings. If you haven't checked them out, check them out. I think definitely on his live stream, which is every Monday at 6 o'clock Eastern time, and it's on Facebook, and it's really fantastic, and you learn so much. But he does these 5-4-3 using the Canson paper with the colorline Canson paper with the inks, and he does these on such high volume and such high quality, and he does use that technique slightly different so he can get more speed. So that's really great, you know. Positive thinking is definitely important there all day. I appreciate that. So Blue says, I like that I can see the inks used by two excellent artists. Yes, definitely. Steve brings a lot to the table in that. And the techniques that you both have when approaching your pieces, teaching everyone a whole lot. Wow. Yes, thank you. So it's not just one way to go about it. There are several ways. And someone like Steve Leahy and all you artists out there who use the ink, I learned so much from you. And I'm so honored that you use my ink. And so that's really cool. If I was just using them myself, I wouldn't be learning as much, but I'm getting so much from that. So much. And the reason why I kind of invented these inks is because I wanted to get that sort of pencil feeling, you know, that control I had with the pencil, with the airbrush, and sort of came together, and they sort of evolved, and they keep evolving, right? As you see, there's going to be a fourth value in there, which is this detail value. But look how beautiful we can get this detail, everybody. There we go. And you see everything is very light, but that's okay. We have all day to go darker. But once we go too dark, then that's when things go awry, you know? Oh yes, definitely. So Nayla says he's been using candies lately and loves them. Blows through 40-30 and 40-50 a lot, so I can see that. Yes, so that I'll leave that question to Steve, because he's the master of candies and 40-30. If you need information, he's definitely the guy for that. So definitely appreciate that, sir. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have that information, and I think that's valuable information. So here's an interesting thing. So when you are doing, like, let's say the edge here, right? So you want to put your magnet pretty close, and the reason is you don't want it billowing, right? And you want to spray away from the mask, because if you spray towards the mask, what's going to happen is it's going to want to billow under. You're going to have some ghosting and stuff like that, and that's no fun. Ghosting in art is not good. And let's see, Blue says, when she gets proficient in the use of the airbrush, I can hope to become. Oh no, you're gonna be the best Blue, the best ever, Ms. Rivera. So you're gonna be fantastic. You keep going, and you're gonna be exactly where you need. And remember the bamboo tree, right? The bamboo tree, I think, grows underground for like something like for 3 years or so. And then all of a sudden, after the 3rd year, it grows higher than every other plant. So I always look to that. It doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish that's important. And you keep going, and if you have any questions, I'm always here to answer. And if you ever get stuck, you know you can always shoot me an instant message or an IM or something like that. And so let's continue. So we can actually work on her upper lip now, so that would be cool. Let's see if we can do that. And we're just taking our time, right? And you're very welcome, Blue, definitely. So, you know, you just take your time and just chill when you're working in this technique. There's no rush. And sometimes there's a rush. If there's a rush, then I can understand that. But optimally, there's no rush. This technique works best when you're just enjoying the painting process. See, if let's say the air is not coming out all that well, you know, the paint's not coming out all that well, then chances are you just need to increase the pressure a little bit. See that? Increase that air pressure, and that will solve it. You'll see when you increase that air pressure, you're going to have much more response of the ink coming out of the airbrush. That's why these custom airbrushes that I make, because they have this pack valve. And not only that, so from the factory they all have a pack valve, but I fit these springs there so you can get micro adjustments. So a lot of different changes that I made in my custom version of these Extreme Peak Treat Arrows, the 105 and the Extreme Peak Treat Arrow. I mean, just fantastic. So look at this detail. Look at that. I couldn't do better with a pencil. And you'll get that same detail. You'll get that same ability to... But you see how when I made that little adjustment right here made all the difference? All the difference, you know? And let's see. Oh, so All Day said paid $16 for two 4-ounce 40/50. And Nameless says they have good products, and so who has the good products out there? And oh, and Steve gets stuff from Coast. That's cool. Coast usually has everything you need, which is good. So that's good. If you're on the West Coast, definitely way to go. I think for stuff like 40/50 and stuff, they're definitely the go-to people. I have to give it them. If you're gonna buy stuff from Createx, I would have to say Coast is probably the best. You know, so definitely for Createx, House of Color, those are definitely the guys. I give them that. You know, I give credit where credit is due. You know, they know their stuff. They give live streams on that stuff. So definitely give those cats credit. I'm always going to give an honest opinion, whether it's pro or con, you know. Some things I might not agree with Coast, but, you know, fundamentally what they're doing is really fantastic. So I definitely... And they give good live streams for people who are into that stuff, you know? Definitely. I can't fault them. And in essence, we're all trying to help you all who are starting out in airbrushing or going forward. You know, we all have that, all looking out for you. House of Colors and stuff, definitely. I would definitely go to Coast for that. They're most knowledgeable. I can't, honestly, no one has the knowledge that they have with House of Color and stuff like that. Especially if you're doing automotive, you really, there's nowhere else to look. like I said, I always give credit where credit is due. And it's honest credit, you know. It's definitely, you know, something that if that's the way I see it, that's the way I'll say it. Okay, so see we have a dark here. We're going to go ahead and put this dark over here like that. This nice dark edge. Now there are a lot of very small details and subtleties which I'm not going to go into just yet. Bought Gatorade today and I'm drinking it like it's water. That's not good. So I have to calm myself down. So you see how we're just bringing her together slowly and making sure that we start making things turn the way they should turn as the world turns. I remember my mom used to watch that when I was a kid, those soap operas. General Hospital and all that stuff. Pretty funny stuff. Okay, so this is where we are. Let's go ahead and put in a face shield and see if we could maybe start working in some other things. So let's see what we have here. And we'll go from here. Let's see. So we should have a nice clean face beginning. So that's good. So now we can see that the white is not getting in the way of our vision. Then we can start painting some of these inner details of the individual forms. I'm about 4 inches away, and so I'm just going to make sure that I erase as I go, and make sure I don't erase on wet, because wet could be really bad, you know. Oh, look at that. That's great information from Steve. If you're buying 40/30 or 40/50, 40/11, you want to make sure you buy the largest quantity better. The largest quantity is best. So great advice, that's for sure. And so, you know, we do have eyes, nose, mouth, right? Those are the major features. But there's a lot more going on than just that. So the first thing I'm going to do is, remember, 1 second rule is always going to help you. So you can see I went a little bit out of order here. And let's go ahead and just sort of continue this dark under here. Now, why is it dark? Because there's forms, right? You know, there's different forms of the muscles and the bone structure. Creates light and dark from individual forms, and that's why you have all these different shadow patterns and stuff like that. And let's soften this edge up because we're a little crazy here. 1 second rule is always going to keep me out of trouble. Okay, so now we're going back to individual forms. Let's see if I can lighten this up a little bit. I think that's good. We'll come down. There we go. So as you can see, we have this zygomatic arch over here. And then I'm going to be about 4 inches away. I'm going to be pumping that trigger. And I'm just going to start painting some of this cheek form that comes down off of the side plane of the nose. And it's nice when you're spraying from further away, the spray pattern gets larger, meaning that the droplets are further away, and it kind of emulates more the skin texture. So that really helps. And the larger you're painting, the more you're able to do that. So her head is about maybe 8 inches or so. So that really helps with skin texture a lot, especially pumping this trigger as I'm doing. So It's not a trick, but it's just a way of a technique to get that sort of wonderful unevenness of skin. And let's see if we can go ahead and use our freehand shield here. And so when you're doing something like the nostril, you always want to ask yourself, is that dark on the inside of the nostril or on the outside of the nostril? And I'm talking about the wing of the nostril. And I would have to say it's outside of the form. So we're just going to, first we're going to make sure that we have this form correct. Never believe a projection or any kind of way you transfer it. Always believe your double check. Always scrutinize your work at every stage. Except for the end. When the end is, you know, you pretty much have to live with what you have. That happens. And keep playing with it until you find the edge you're looking for. Okay? You'll find it eventually, but take your time. Even here, perpendicular and not parallel. And then it sort of fades out as it comes up here. So let's make sure we fade that out as it comes up. Main thing is to have fun, relax, take it easy, and it'll come together. Follow the recipe. Recipes are important when making cake, brownies, rice pudding, leg of lamb. You know, you just follow the recipes. They're recipes for a reason. And, you know, you can loosely veer away and experiment, that's for sure. But when you're painting, just relax. Take it easy. Have fun. You're painting for yourself. There we go. And let's see what else we have. Okay, so whatever we did on one side, we always do on the other side, right? So we did have some form here. We have some light form right here. This muscle underneath the bag of the eye is a muscle. It's a muscle that's pulled tight, and you just want to make sure that you go ahead and make that turn, right? Then you have this shadow here. Right here, again, we have this nostril, the wing of the nostril. So let's go ahead and, so remember I did come in with the pencil, so erase that pencil. And then we're going to do the same here. Your pencil is always going to have more control than your airbrush. Always, always. So, you know, don't worry about using it, because that's just going to help you. It's just going to help you. And that's all there's to it. It's just going to help. And anything that helps is your friend. So either a tool is against you or for you. So when you are working and it's not for you, then you got to do it a different way, right? So the same thing, you know, when you're working, and if that technique is not working for you, it's not your friend, and you have to tweak it. That whole thing, if they say, if you're not for me, you're against me. And I think the same thing, if a technique is not for you becoming a better artist, then you kind of have to abandon it, or, you know that you have to stick with it until it starts coming together. But you see, if it's not going together, maybe that technique's not for you. You know, so always remember that. And let's see. Oh, John says, Tim, can you put up the reference picture? Definitely, my friend. Great question. Let's see. Oh, that doesn't look like her. No, sorry. That's not her. Let's see, guys. I'm going to find her. There she is. All right, cool. So, thanks for asking, John. That's great. And that's really cool. And so, okay, so going back to subtleties, right? So we have lots and lots of subtleties. right? And on this side over here. And let's go ahead and do this subtlety right here. See, we have a pencil line there, and we can use that as our guide. So I'm going to be pretty far away. I'm going to be about 3 inches away. And I'm just going to very lightly and kind of, you know, pump that trigger, keeping those drops of ink further away from each other so they can almost just kiss that surface and create that ever subtle cheek line right there, right? So, you know, sometimes you have to be super subtle for it to work. You can't blast it. You know, it doesn't work. When you're painting a face, especially a pretty woman, you want to make sure that you are being subtle. Otherwise, you're going to make her look like, I don't know, like a guy. And you don't want the paintings of your women looking like guys. I don't. So subtlety is the word of the day when it comes to that. Same thing here. We want to do this side plane of the nose. If I want it lighter, I'm going to increase my distance. And I'm going to go a little faster as I come up. And you can see the difference in the value on the dark side and the light side, right? There's definitely a disparity there. So you definitely want to make sure that you approach it that way. And then, so I'm kind of weary about the kneaded eraser because it kind of does some weird stuff to the kneaded eraser, kind of does weird stuff to the paper if you erase it in, you know, in a larger area. So try and stay away from the kneaded eraser for too much. Small areas like this, yes, you know, kneaded eraser works very well. But try not to do it over a large area. I think it's a bad idea all around, you know. And I'm just going to zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. So as you can see, we're starting to, you know, just very slowly make things turn a bit, but not going nuts, right? We're not going nuts. And let's go back to our view here. And you see we got some interesting things going on in the corner here. And we have some really weird pencil lines, so let's get rid of this pencil line here. Always scrutinize what you're doing, you know? Ask yourself, what am I thinking? Is that good thinking? Because this happened last week. I might have been thinking about, you know, the groceries, or who knows what I was thinking about. But definitely a bad decision, whatever was going on here. So you always, always, always want to scrutinize what you're working on. And if you want to get like the value, you can always test on a scrap piece of paper like I did there, right? And then we could look at our reference material, paint for a second, right? And we're going to look for a second. So look for a second, paint for a second, and that's going to be the way that we achieve the look we're wanting, right? We'll get there. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. And you're just going to have a good time. You're not going to be stressed out. Is it going to look like her? Whatever. Follow the recipe at the end, it will. That's all you need to worry about. And then we'll just calm this down here. Some pencil lines we need to get rid of. Pencil lines are like training wheels. When your kid's learning how to ride a bike, you don't take them off until they can actually ride the two wheels. Otherwise, they're going to be upset with you. And you don't want your kids upset with you, do you? I know I don't. I don't have kids, but I would be upset if they were upset with me. So here, All Day says, I don't like them either when using for sketching. It leaves a residue. Are you meaning the... Yes, so the importance of a kneaded eraser is to know when to get rid of them. Once they start getting like oily, see how you have this snap of when you pull them apart, you have that snap? That means it's new. But once it gets oily, this is what happens. When you pull them apart, they'll go real slow like this and get really weird. And then it'll get darker. So that's when you... But yeah, the kneaded eraser is a great tool. You just have to know when to use it and when not to use it, you know? Oh, thanks, Steve. So Steve mentions how the initial white stage, you know, the application of my white mixture actually starts showing up at this stage. Is that it's sort of like playing chess, you know, you're thinking several moves ahead, and putting that initial stage of the white really comes together as you slowly develop, you know, and slowly develop is definitely the key word here. So I have other cutouts here, and what I want to do is I want to work out the neck, her neck, and so what I would do is I would put this here, but we still have the dilemma of this here, of the neck. So let me see if I can get away with it. Yeah, I think I can get away with it. So I'm just going to use this as my freehand shield, but let me see. So, you know, you're going to have times in your painting when you're going to be making decisions, right? And your decisions are, what do you keep, what do you get rid of? So I have another cutout, and I'm going to go get it. And I'm also going to get myself a Gatorade, and I'll be right back. Drinking too much Gatorade. I got to calm down. So what time do we have? Did we hit the 10:30 mark? Look at that, 10:30 already. Either we're having a lot of fun or time is flying. Either or. It's 10:30. So that means the Wheel of Names. So we're going to put her over here, and we're going to see who won this week's Blackbeard Wheat, which is very, very exciting. Let's see. Okay, so this was last week's, and let me get myself a pen. I know I have a pen here somewhere. I do, and I also have a Post-it. So if you want to be part of this, you have 2 seconds to go ahead and email me, paintingcliffs@gmail.com, if you want to be part of the drawing for the Blackbeard Wheat. So this is who we have thus far. I see we have Colette, and that's cool. And we have Stephen Lang, and he's from the UK. And let's see, we also have John Payne. And let's see. Now, you can, if you won before, you can enter again. So it's not like you won, you can't enter. So definitely enter. And so we have Raul. We're going to put Raul in there. And Chris Garcia. Cool. Great to see you, Chris. And we have Willie. Willie is entering. And let's see who else we have. So, let's see. So it's Rick. Rick's there. And let's see. So any emails right now, please go ahead, because you really have a high. Oh, we got Blue. So we have a very high amount. You know, it's the percentage is really good for you to win. So definitely just shoot me an email right now at paintingcliffs@gmail.com. That will get you to me. Let's see if I missed anybody. I don't ever want to miss anybody. John Diekman. Okay. We got John Diekman here. And okay, so let's go back and see what you guys are talking about here. Okay, so here's so all you have to do all day is to email me paintedglyphs@gmail.com. So take your time emailing me. So it's paintedglyphs@gmail.com. Let me see if I have it written down here. I did. But I'll put you in all day anyway, okay? You email me later. So we're going to do the Wheel of Names, which is really very cool. And so that's it, right? So is that everybody? If that's not everybody... Oh, Patty, have a great night. And Patty, you want to be in the drawing there? Just say yes. And... okay. All right, so let's see. So now I'm going to go to the Wheel of Names. And this is going to be great and exciting. Okay. So with the Wheel of Names, I can actually change this over. And let's see. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so you all should see the Wheel of Names, but you don't. So I'm going to bring this over and see if you guys can see this. So if I bring this over, can you still hear me? Let me know if you can still hear me now that I have this over. And I'm going to put the first name, Colette. Oh, Nameless, I'm going to put you in there too, no problem. So let's put in Colette here. And then we'll put in Nameless. Oh, you can't see the Wheel of Names? Let's see if we could make this happen here. Let's see. If I come here, add source, I think I can do this. So I can do a screen capture and we can do monitor 2. So you can see that, everybody? You can see the Wheel of Names and you can hear me? Okay, so I think we're in good shape now, everybody. So I have Nameless. I'm going to put in Steve Lang. And we're going to put in John Payne. This Blackbeard Wheat you're going to love, trust me. And Raoul. And we have Chris Garcia. And then we have Willie. And then we have Rick. Blue. John Diekman. Okay, so now, is there anyone out there who basically wants to enter and hasn't yet? So let's see here. Okay, make that big. Okay, so now we have the Wheel of Names going so everybody can see it. Let me customize this. This is pretty cool. I can... That's loud. Let me lower that. That's crazy loud. So we'll lower the volume on that and let's change it to let's see. Let's change it to cheerful music. And see if I can hear that. No, that's a little too cheerful, isn't it, everybody? Let's go with this one. Okay, that's pretty cool. So we're going to use that. And we're going to have the spin time for 49 seconds. And we're going to hit OK. So does anyone else want to be part of this? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Let's see. Hey, Marcelo. How you doing? So we're going to put Marcelo and Roy in. And so Brad doesn't need it. And Wendy. So we have Wendy, Marcelo, and Roy. So let's go ahead and make that happen, people. So we have Marcelo. And we have Roy. And who was the third person? The third person was... I got you there, Marcelo. So cool. So thanks for entering. I appreciate you. And so we have Roy, Marcelo, and Wendy. Wendy. So we're going to make you there, Wendy. Okay, let's put Wendy in. Okay, this is Blackbeard Wheat. You're going to love it. It's going to help you to do hair and everything. So here goes. You ready? Wheel of names. Let's make this happen. Nope. I didn't make it happen. Here we go. Okay, so this is pretty cool. It's so random and got some really cool music. And you see a little commercial there in the upper left-hand corner. That's so if it actually lands on the icon for the class, then that's going to be something really interesting. So if that happens, then we're gonna tell you what that means. It looks like it could happen. Looks like between Roy and Wendy. Wendy! Wait, it's still going. Still going. Oh, look at that. It looks like Wendy's the winner. So Wendy, you're going to love this Blackbeard weed. You're going to enjoy it. And that's going to be really cool. So that concludes our Wheel of Names, which I really enjoyed a lot more than you guys do. And so let's see. So congrats to Wendy. So that's really fantastic. If you ever want to do the Wheel of Names, I know that Mr. Leahy does the live streams, and he has, which is really cool, he does a random counter, which is really cool. But if you ever want to do this, it's wheelofnames.com, and it really works really well. So definitely check that out, you know. Oh, Marcelo de Rio de Janeiro, como vai você? Tudo bem, it's so good to see you. And so who's leaving? Oh, take care, Steve. Thanks so much for your great comments, and definitely thank you for the $10 donation. It is so fantastic. So that is great. And Dr. Steve, Mr. Steve, how are you today, sir? Good to see you. So we have Steve Leahy leaving, and then we have another Steve replacing him. So we always have to have our Steve at the right number. Always great to see you, Steve. Definitely. And so now we should get back to our regularly scheduled program. So the Blackbeard Wheat. So what happens if... So with the Wheel of Names, I have one that just has the icon. If we ever do the Wheel of Names, and we're going to be giving something away every week, if we ever do the Wheel of Names, that's going to be like crazy. It's going to be something crazy going on if the Wheel of Names goes on that particular image of the thumbnail of the video. So that's going to be fantastic. And all day you have a great night. Take care. Always a pleasure. Thank you so much for stopping by, you know. Really, really happy that you're here. if you all have a chance, go ahead. If you want to share this video on Facebook or anything like that, feel free to do that. Don't go too much out of your way, though. If it's easy to do it, do it. If not, it's all good, you know? So let me come over here. And... uh-oh. No, I'm good. I'm good. Okay. There we go. Now we're back, everybody. Okay, so we are back, and we're back in business. So as you see, we're working on her. And what I want to do is I want to work on her neck, but I want to get these like really beautiful hard edges here. And I don't feel I can get them if I'm going to freehand it, right? So it's very, very important. And so what we're going to do is we're going to move her aside, and we're going to bring in our little baby cutting mat here. It's nice and small. So I have my reference, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out, I'm going to draw a little bit better this chess piece. It's the king. No, it looks like it's the queen. It's the queen. Queen's Gambit. Makes sense, right, everybody? Okay. And come here. Just make this a little more even. And this is kind of a crooked chess piece, honestly. So I'm not sure what's going on, but this is definitely a crooked chess piece in the reference here. Really weird how that happens. People are going to say, Tim, your drawing's off. No, it was the chess piece in the painting. So, okay, so now I have that a little bit better. I'm going to get my trusty razor blade. And let's see. Yes, hand carved. That makes sense, doesn't it? See, that's why I have you guys around. You guys you're always making sense. So I'm always got to think, okay, Tim, what are you doing here? So what I'm doing is I'm definitely going to go ahead and cut out the neck and just have the neck cut out. So that's my game plan. 1 second rule, right? Just going to bring this down. 1 second rule. Just like so. And let's follow this crooked hand-carved king here. See, that's the thing. In photography, people will believe it, but it's a painting, they're going to think that you messed up. And that's the dilemma of a fine artist, is that they're not going to believe that, you know, that this was a hand-carved piece that had imperfections. They can be like, Tim can't draw, you know? What's wrong with him? And if I knew what was wrong with me, if they knew, they would definitely have to tell me, because I don't know what's wrong with me. Let's see. So, Dr. Steve, how you been? How's everything going by you? Is work getting very difficult, you know, with the times going on, sir? There we go. So look, so see how we actually went ahead and got this beautiful shape here. So we're going to have a good time painting that, you know. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, Steve, so much. Very busy, yes, I could imagine. But thank you so much for what you're doing for our country and for the world. I really appreciate you, as I know everyone does, of the work you're doing. So I just want to say you're great. That's all I want to say, is that you're great, Steve, and you really are. You know, you're doing something that doesn't have a value. It's a value that you can't put a dollar value on. This. So I like coming down like in a pincer movement. So I'll go, so here you see I started there, and then I'll come in a pincer movement over here so I don't drag it, right? So you see how I'll come over here. I did get a little drag over here. Oh well. I said the word drag and look what happens. Okay, we just have to be careful. A little freehand shield action over there. That's all. And we'll come down here. And Mr. Leahy said that he likes to just press down as opposed to in these really tight areas. Pressing down is much more effective than dragging it, you know? So he knows what he's talking about, Mr. Leahy. When it comes to razor blade, I don't think anyone knows any better than him. I know I don't. I know I don't. And you see this pincer movement right here? And then this should come off. Now you see we have a little attachment, so don't try and pull it off. You know, so here we go. We have that, and look at that. That's so beautiful. Kind of looks like she has some sort of turtleneck going on there, doesn't she? But I digress. So we'll move this away, and we'll come back with this young lady here. And we'll place this as so, and now we can work on her neck and really start doing some things without having to worry about overspray. Overspray is very rarely your friend. Sometimes it's your friend, but very rarely is it your friend. So let's see what I missed. Oh, you're very welcome, Dr. Steve. Definitely. And oh, I can't wait, you know, once the guest bedroom. Wow, that's going to be great, the hobby bedroom. The hobby room, that's great. So when you're ready, we're going to work. So I'm looking forward to that. And the Nameless says, just ordered some Scott McKay freehand stencils, and boy are they pricey, but they come in handy. Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, all these little tools that you do that are going to help your work is really going to pay dividends. And those are pretty... I like them a lot. I like the small sizes of those stencils. So those are nice. Like I say, I have to give credit where credit is due, and those are nice. And those are definitely definitely things that are going to improve your work. So real good acquisition there, my friend. And yeah, I owe it to you guys. There's a good product. I'll tell you yay or nay, and that's a good product. So, way to go. Hey, Mr. Todd, how you doing? Good to see you, sir. And what I'm going to do is, so now this whole thing is that I wanted to paint her neck, and I wanted to get this really beautiful hard edge right here. So that's what we're going to be working on. Let me zoom in, and we'll come down here. And you'll see, you know, what I'm alluding to. And let's see. So right here, so you want to have the magnets really close. You want to get that edge. You don't want any kind of underspray or anything like that. You want to have that nice hard edge over here. And then it's much darker right on the edge, right? You see that? And then we can come down here. And now we have the chest piece. And we can actually very lightly paint around this chest piece here. Just like that. Right over here, it's a little darker. So this is going to really be advantageous when working out the neck, and also this separation of the neck and the chin, which is going to be very important. Then we're going to do the same thing with the chest piece, the same thing you know, with the chin and the face, and it's all going to come together, trust me. See right here, let me see if I can zoom out. right here you see I'm beginning to get that hard edge, but I'm not quite there. So it's a little bit dark here, so let's put this back. So that's why when you lift it, you sort of hinge it so you can go right back to it, which is great, you know? And that's funny, Dr. Steve. And, oh, so Blue says her mom is doing great. That's good to hear. Fantastic. So I love that. And so that's really fantastic. So right here, remember it's a little bit darker, and I'm still going to do my 1 second rule. So Wendy, I'm excited to send you some free, some of that Blackbeard wheat. You're going to love it. Plus I'll do a little something else because Blackbeard wheat isn't much in itself. I'm going to give a little extra gift too. So next week, I'm going to be thinking what the next prize is going to be for next week. So I'm excited, and so I'll figure it out. Again, if you want to be part of next week's, just email me, paintinglyphs@gmail.com, and you'll be entered in next week's Wheel of Names. And the Wheel of Names, I'm going to do a little more hip-hop music, so make it a little more interesting and a little more fun. I just love the Wheel of Names. I don't know why I love it so much, but it's a fun acquisition to the channel. I can give back to those who so graciously you all give to me. So little things, nothing too big, but little things I can give. So you see how I was able to do the neck there and keep it clean and have that really hard, beautiful edge. So now I'm going to take my kneaded eraser and I'm just going to... Blue said she's jealous. And so far I think everything is coming out pretty well. Let's continue and let's see what we can do to actually use our freehand shield a little bit. And I think we could work on the hair. So what I would want to do is do a freehand shield that basically only covers the outside of her hair, so we can really get busy with that. So once again, we're going to, like I said, this is a low-tech version of what we do, just keeping it, approachable for everyone. Everyone has a cutting board and razor blades and copies. You can make copies on your printer. So everyone has that ability. So I'm just doing a low-tech version with this painting, and you can see, it's going a little slow, but it's still going, right? It doesn't matter how fast it goes. Just make sure it goes correctly. So let's go ahead and go back to our trusty razor blade here. Let's see. And I'm going to come over here. And, glasses time, definitely. So we're going to cut out the outside of the hair, so when we do paint the hair, we're not going to be contaminating the background, because the background is considerably lighter than the hair, am I right? So let's continue coming over here. Again, when you have these points, it's best to press down at the point as opposed to try and drag it, because Steve Leahy very aptly points out that if you try and pull that, you're likely to rip the paper, and you won't have a perfect shield or mask. And these magnets get in the way a little bit. Every technique has its pros and cons. There is no perfect technique. Everything has its pros and cons. But as you can see here, while working here, we have a lot of pros, but there are some cons as well. And then if you're doing cut mylar that's clear, there are cons there as well, and there are pros. So, you know, it's good to know different techniques, because you never know where you might be. You might not have ability to use certain machinery or anything like that. So definitely keep the wheelhouse, keep growing with your technique, but keep remembering old techniques that might not be as efficient but will come in handy somewhere. So keep your, and how do you keep that? But every once in a while working on some old techniques. That's how you keep in shape with that. Every once in a while, always good. Every once in a while, it is always good to revisit old techniques. I know it seems counterintuitive, but really you want to be well-rounded, and this is a great way to be well-rounded in technique. And this just comes down, just like that. And pull that up. Okay, so remember, we're just doing hair, right? And we are doing the 1 second rule. So we are just going to really look at our reference. You know, we gotta stay in the game. You know, always stay in the game. Always keep yourself really riveted to your reference. You and your reference are like the dynamic duo, right? Without, you know, having your reference with you and having it part of your decision making, you're going to have a painting that is not going to be true to your subject. If it's not true to your subject, then it's not going to be as beautiful. Okay, so let's see how we did. Okay, so basically we are cutting out this background here, right? So we just want to paint the hair. So let's see if, so this right here, okay, so what we're going to do is exactly, so we're just going to continue down here. Like I said, I have to stay in the game, right? So what exactly do I want? I want everything covered except for the hair. And the hair is the only thing I'm going to leave uncovered. And we're just going to continue right here. Continue this down. And sorry I can't see your comments. I'm just really concentrating on this, because when I'm cutting, if I just, you know, cut the wrong thing, it's not going to be good. Okay, so I'm gonna save this piece, and so I'm gonna bring this down, and I'll figure this out. Oh, so who needs a Vanna White? I definitely could use a Vanna White. Vanna White still looks great, right? I remember when I was a kid, she was turning those letters. Ah. So you gotta stay in the game, Tim. Stay in the game. Bring this down. So yeah, we're going to really, we're going to look back at this stage and go, aha, that was a good stage. We did good here. We got some good hair edges and everything, and we kept clean from overspray. So right now we're looking at this, but we're going to be like, no, that was a good decision, Tim. So So let's do our thinking here. Got our thinking caps on here. So we're going to be working on her hair, right? So we're going to have this, bam, like that. And then we're going to have this one just like this, pow. And then we're just going to work on this outside of the hair. And so do we need the face shield? That's a question that we have to ask ourselves, and I think we can use the face shield here a little bit. But we don't need it. Maybe we will down the line. We're not going to go super dark, so let's go ahead and remove our really cool baby cutting mat here. And then we're going to put this here. And let's line this up, because if it's not lined up, then it's just going to be, you know, it's going to be paper masking one, Tim nothing. And that's never good. Let's see. So this live stream's going really fast, so that must mean I have great people in this live stream. So thank you everybody for hanging out with me thus far. I think you're fantastic, and you know, I never looked forward to Wednesday so much, you know, with these live streams. I just look forward to Wednesday. It's like my whole week revolves around Wednesday. Now, that's either really cool or I need a life, but I think it's a good life. I'm really happy to hang with you all. So, see how we're going to establish that hair without dirtying that background? Bam! That's going to look nice, everybody. And it's something you can do, you know. Just make sure that, you know, the cutout is exactly the same size and dimensions as all of your measurements on the original. So you do those two things, you're going to have a good time. You just need a razor blade, nice sharp razor blade. Well, actually my razor blade isn't that sharp, so it doesn't have to be that sharp. I'm sure it's better if it is sharp, right? I'm sure it's better. And let's put that here. Good question. So Mr. Steve says, how do you not blow ink under the mat's edges? And the trick is, there's two tricks. Such a great question. First is that you always want to spray away from the mat. If you're spraying away from the mat, it's not going to get underneath. And that's the first thing. Second thing is, when you're spraying, put those magnets as close to the edge as possible. So I'm just going to blow some air, right? So you see, if I have the magnets further away, and I'm just going to blow, and you can see how that paper kind of lifts, right? Especially if I zoom in, right? You'll see how that paper lifts, right? See how that paper lifts? And that, but a way to combat that is, one way is bring those magnets close, and you can see how it no longer lifts. But also spray away from your freehand shield, and this way the air is going away and not under. So great question. So that's very important. Okay, so let's do some hair. So again, we're going to put our magnets close, and we're going to spray away. You know, I think that, you know, we'll do good to have this here, not this one, but here we go, here she is, because I want to keep this really clean over here. So, and so I can see right here the edge is a little rough here, so I'm just going to smooth that out. There we go. And we'll put her right here, just to keep it clean, because we're not going to do any edge work or anything, right? We're just going to keep it clean. We want to keep the skin clean. Very, very important. Okay. There we go. All right, so more magnets. More magnets. Magnets, magnets, magnets. Okay. Let's let this happen. So remember, I was using that super detail ink mixture that I have, and now I'm going to start with the regular light mixture. It's a little stronger, and again, we're going to spray away from our freehand shield, and we'll just see how this dark is a little richer. Now, it's like anything else compared to the super detailed mixture, what we were working on in the early stages. This is pretty dark. See that? And we'll just continue. And this is a job for the freehand shield. We want that beautiful edge perpendicular and not parallel, right? Everyone remembers that. And we're just gonna continue that right over here. So remember, the most important thing to painting is have fun. Enjoy yourself. I'm painting away from that mask there. Just have fun. That's the most enjoyable part of this. And if you're not having fun, then you just got to ask yourself, how can I make it more fun? And then you can email me, Tim, how can I make it more fun? And we'll come up with a plan to make it more fun, right? So, no worries, we'll make it more fun. We'll figure out why it's not fun and we'll go from there. Hey NW, great to see you! Yes, NW say if it's not fun, what's the point? Exactly. And you know, there are times when you're, making a living as an artist and everything, where it becomes a little less fun and work because, we have to pay the bills to live and all that, of course. But, then you have to step back and say, okay. And I never want to ever hear not do it because it's not fun, because that's a negative thing. But if we can say, okay, what's going on? Why is this not fun, right? What's happening with this? And so this is not matching up the way I want it to. So I'm just going to use Mr. Freehand Shield over here. And we're just going to get that hard edge the old-fashioned way. Like I said, sometimes new techniques are great, but sometimes the best way, the best solution is old-fashioned technique, right? Remember, we are going perpendicular and not parallel. You all know that rule. One of the Timisms out there, right? And even the live streams, I try to make it more fun. Wheel of Names, right? Having some really cool side chit-chat. Just have a real loose atmosphere. So yeah, everything. We always have to ask, if anything's becoming a little less fun, what can we do to remedy that? But never quit, never stop, right? Because that's not the answer we're looking for. That's never a good answer. So you see, now we're able to do some really nice hair here. So now, see how this is kind of bringing her a little more to life, right? We got a long way to go, right? A very long way to go. But still, here we go. And really work on this. There. We have a nice hard edge over here, perpendicular and not parallel. Just crawl along that surface. See that, everybody? So again, some freehand shield action. Make sure you wipe that off before. Hey John, thanks so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great weekend coming up. It's really right around the corner. And how's the weather over there in Wisconsin, sir? And like I said, you can always find that edge. You might have to play around with it. There we go. See that nice edge? You know? Oh, great. Finally under 90. Enjoy that cool weather there, John. I'm sure that is a great relief there. And thank you so much for hanging out with us today, sir. Really love that. Always look forward to seeing you every week. Okay. So again, we're just working on the hair. So we're establishing here, right? We're just establishing. So we have this framework that we can slowly get darker and increase our how do you say, we can increase our contrast and get more refined with everything. So, you know, with our lights and darks. So just a lot of fun stuff. And just sticking with the recipe. And this is a little bit darker right here. Right there. I may have to go ahead and, I don't have to lighten that up because everything else is going to catch up to it. But that spot is a little, you know, out of order a little bit. But we'll get there. We don't have to always make the adjustments right away. If you're doing a pragmatic approach, it's always good to think about, you know, letting other stuff catch up before you make any erasing. And let's see here. Oh, my arm itches. That's not good. Okay. And let's see here. Alright, so now we have that, and so we have this really nice dark of her hair, and like John said, like Dr. Steve says, we have to make sure that we put that edge there, right? Put those magnets close to the edge because we don't want that billowing happening. And I'm going to go with the super detailed light mixture here. Let's see. And I'm going to use this face shield as a freehand shield. The face mask as a freehand shield. See that? I can definitely use any material as a freehand shield. And let me see if I move this over here. Bring this over. Always try and know your materials. What in my toolbox is best for this particular problem? And those are the things you want to start asking yourself. You know, is the light mixture the best for the problem? Or is it the detail mixture is the best for this particular problem? So those are really good to know. And that just comes with time. Have patience with that. But every hour that you do airbrushing is like putting money in the bank, right? In your artistic vault. And you'll be able to use it, and it just comes together, which is just amazing. So you really love that. Again, we have this shield here, so we can be a little free, or more free, coming here and just darkening this hair here. Just a very... I'm just going to be very loose in darkening this hair mask, and then we can go darker and deeper. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see what we have. We're just going to leave a hinge, right? Alright, put this one over here. Save these because they will come in handy later in the painting, especially when we're getting darker. So look at that edge now. Really nice, really beautiful. We have that beautiful established edges, and we don't have to worry about dark, ruining that background, right? We're going to work that separately, and we want to have that really nice edge work. Now I did cut out the somewhere. Where did I cut out the chest piece, right? Oh, the neck area. So let's go ahead and put that on there, and let's see if we can go ahead and establish that chest piece a little bit. Now there should be a negative with every positive, so we'll figure that out too. Let's see. Let's make sure we get this correct. As Fonzie would say, correctamundo. Okay. So what happened to that Hurricane Larry? Did that continue just going offshore? Is that gone, I hope? I haven't been watching the news, as I should have. So let me know, where that guy went. Let's reestablish that. A little bit right here. Okay. I'm just going to lift this up rather quickly. And Nameless says, whenever he gets frustrated with a project, he just refers back to his handyman way of solving problems and asks himself, what tool or instrument does he have in his arsenal to fix the problem? I love that. Do I need a hammer, for example? That's great. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing that, Mr. Nameless. That's fantastic. I appreciate that. And Blue says that she's never asked me, but have I ever had a piece that didn't come out as planned? Was it something you fixed? So that's a great question. So yes, I mean, there are pieces that will give you a struggle, just like people. Some people are very easygoing, and some people are sweet and wonderful to work with. And same thing with a painting. Some paintings just sort of flow like they're being painted by themselves. You almost feel guilty putting your name on it. But there are other paintings that will fight you along the way. And that happens. And sometimes, you might have to start over. But I always go down with the ship, meaning I am going to do whatever I can to make it work. So a pragmatic approach is definitely a way to go. The technique in which I am showing everybody here is a very pragmatic approach, which means that if you go ahead and stick with a formula or a recipe, everything should work out correctly, unless there was a failure in one of the steps. And if that happens, then of course you have to start over. But if we're very pragmatic and very exact in our measurements and how we do things, and make sure that we definitely don't cut any corners artistically, we're going to be just fine. But that's really important, Oh my God, look at that. Dr. Steve says he uses a hammer. And Dr. Steve says, like every painting he's ever tried. But we're going to work together, Dr. Steve, and we're going to do some things where things are going to go smoothly. Trust me, that's going to happen. And so, when you study with a teacher, whether it's me or another teacher, always study with someone who's working, right? You don't want to study with someone who's not painting, not growing. You want to study with someone who's in the field, in the trenches with you. And that's the important thing. They're in the trenches with you. So they know the difficulties. They know how to circumvent the difficulties. So when you're working with, someone like myself who you study with, I know those pitfalls before you get there, right? So when we work together, we will circumvent those pitfalls. I'll tell you about them, not just go by them and say, you know, did you see that hole? No, show you that hole and say, look, that's what we have to get around. And so it's like those years of experience are going to save you a lot of frustration. And NW says, then there are the days the airbrush just fights you. Definitely. Yeah, it's like a tug of war, right? And it does happen, you know, it happens to all of us. But the thing is to be tougher than the airbrush and just have this tenacious fortitude that you're going to go forward no matter what. And Dr. Steve says, yes, we will. Can't wait. Yes. And exactly, the process is really going to be like an epiphany for you, Dr. Steve, because over the past year, the process has become even more refined. And so that's really fantastic. Oh, Todd says he needs to work with me and just needs how to find a way to do it. We'll work together, sir, definitely. That's fantastic, Todd. Nameless says definitely use a hammer as well. That's I don't know what that is, but that sounds like serious, and get really frustrated, start to feel more like the nail. Oh, yeah, no, it's, everyone goes through it. Don't feel like you're alone out there. You're not alone out there, so don't feel like you are. Okay, so here we are. So, oh, look at that. It's like starting to pour rain. I started mentioning, Hurricane Larry out there, and then it started to pour. And I think Mother Nature got angry. So let's see. So what we're going to do now is, by the end of the night, we have 8 minutes. So what I want to do, uh-oh. So you guys still see me? Everything's still clear? I had a little hiccup here from the rain. So yes, Dr. Steve, it's going to be a lot of fun. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut out her sweater. And we're going to come in and establish some of these darks, protect that hand, and continue. Let's see how we are doing with the live stream. Okay, I'm going to turn off my sound. Let's see if we can make it, with this rain kind of messing with our groove over here. Let's see if we have sound. Yeah, you can see